Opening his eyes, he understood that when Hedin betrayed, the one who was most affected was undoubtedly Hogni. The dark elf showed his anger completely, his tearful eyes were filled with tears and he shook his trembling fists. "Of course you do, you bastard." A dry voice sounded. The first-level adventurer could easily dodge the injured fist, but Hedin's cheek caught him. Only the dark elf's fist that has the same origin as him has the right to hit. Flying off the man's face, the glasses that fell to the ground whispered softly. "We're the only ones who can't betray that lady. Don't be such an idiot. There is no right to be beaten a second time." The ghost, the beast and the elf said so, and fought back with cold eyes. Hogni, who had been half dead for a long time, received an excellent iron fist to the face and was about to faint. "Being beaten so badly by a girl, why are you still saying stupid things? After all, how can you be my opponent now? You can't do it." "Hedin. That hurts, wait a minute." In the end, he even stuck out his foot and tripped over Hogni. A bang. "It rains on the soles of your shoes." Very hyper-rationalist, the bloodless and tearless white elf made the dark elf cry loudly. "You ask me why I committed the crime? It was out of necessity. If things continue like this, Lady Freya will lose it. Lose her expectation and never get it again." Hedin, who stopped, said this, and Hogni raised his head in doubt after hearing this. If it weren't for that stupid rabbit, Freya-sama wouldn't be able to be redeemed. I've come to this conclusion. When the solid, little garden was completed, he pretended to be a cruel warrior like Alan and the others, and trained Belle's body and mind to the limit. Because he realized that regardless of whether the little garden was destroyed or not, it was necessary. Even though he didn't expect this kind of faction war, in the future that Hedin Selland expected, Belle Cranel had to reject the goddess's love. Whether he kicked the young man in the back, pushed him to hell, or saw the limit of his heart that would not yield, or released the faction's surveillance by ignoring his communication with Mia, all of this was intentional. There is absolutely no need to have a hard heart. Because Hedin originally had this intention to get closer to Belle. The journey that begins with the transformation of the goddess festival will end with the goddess, no matter what. That's why Freya couldn't doubt Hedin's loyalty. Because the rebellion he is doing now is all because of her, there is no lie. Redemption. Expectation. What are you talking about, Hedin? Stop being foolish, idiot. You have already played the role of King Hogni. Even if the head doesn't understand, your intuition should have discovered something. Red coral eyes pierced the mute Hogni. If it weren't for that stupid rabbit, I wouldn't be able to free that woman. Why? Because she chose that man. I don't know if this can really be saved. That hesitant guy hurt her many times. But even so, this isn't something we can do. Therefore, we can just entrust it to him. Hearing Hedin's emotionless words, even with resignation, Hedin stood up with trembling hands. What is this? What are you talking about, Hedin? Enough. If to cover everything, Hedin grabbed Hogni's tattered front of his clothes and pulled him away. You should know too. We can protect the goddess, but we can't save her. Hogni's eyes opened to the limit. Don't hide it, tell your truth. Say you don't want to give your beloved goddess to other guys. Why? Of course I know. Because me too. Hedin's shameless sincerity deprived Hogni of his retreat. Why is that guy? Why can't it be me? I just want to be that special person for that lady. Seeing that smile, smiling at that boy, Hedin's heart was violently shaken. It was an innocent, joyful and incomparably precious smile, as if she had forgotten that she was a goddess. That smile was the real her, and with shock, he understood the fact. So he immediately felt jealous. Exactly for Belle Cranel. Why a brat, he thought. However, he noticed one thing. The goddess Freya will give love to Hedin and others. She distributes the ocean of love, the ocean of infinite width and depth, which mortals cannot possess, to those who desire it. But it can only hit one person. Because she is the goddess of love. A poor clumsy girl who doesn't understand why she is in charge of love. But this is not acceptable. We who worship the goddess. We are saved by the goddess, and we who long for the goddess cannot free her. Desiring the goddess, fighting for love and being loved. This will take you away from the truth. Keep her away from expectation. The more I want to be a goddess, the more I cannot fulfill Freya's expectations, and not even her real expectations can be detected. If you can't meet your master's expectations, what kind of matter is this? What kind of loyalty? If you can't protect her smile, what kind of love is this? He released a sincere determination. Hogni's hand shook convulsively. Hogni, help me. Now, if you are willing to be fooled by my jokes, hand over your strength. The elf without glasses completely threw away the mask of reason. Shocked by innocent thoughts, Hogni lost his strength. His hands hang helplessly. Then come and lie to me, Hedin. Hogni laughed. I'm an idiot. I don't know what's right and what's wrong. I'm just a useless king who goes with the flow. Once upon a time there were two sad kings. The elves are divided into white and black, and on the isolated island where they fight among themselves, they are taken to the throne and killed as necessary. In black, he is afraid of others, unable to stand up to his compatriots, cursing his obstinacy and at the same time fulfilling his mission. In white, he rejected his incompetence and became a slave to containment. His self-esteem did not allow him to abdicate his responsibilities, becoming a puppet of this small world. Bound by the brand called king, they thought that they should at least defeat the king, who was completely opposite to them in the opponent's camp, and leave meaning for the birth of their own body. The dark elves want to attack the white elves, and the white elves want to attack the dark elves. That's all they can hope for. Excuse me. I destroyed your country. But the goddess saved them. The goddess destroyed the ugly island of the elves and freed the two kings. No matter how much others blamed her for what she did and called her a witch, only the two elves adored her very much. To free herself from the shackles of the title, king, she became a witch just for the sake of two people. Hogni and Hedin, who no longer needed to be kings, knelt before the goddess and swore to be faithful. From that day on, the king died, and the white and black knights were born. That's right, I'm just trash who lets others control their own destiny. But she covered Hedin's hand holding the front with her right hand, held it tightly, and shouted to the student in front of her. Even then, I've never met Miss Hill. I didn't know she would show a smile like that. Like Hedin, he remembered the girl's smile as she faced the boy and expressed her determination. If she can smile like that, then I hope the goddess can smile all the time. Then Hedin. Just let you lie to me. Seeing the dark elf looking at him, shouting like that, the white elf twisted his mouth. Only Hogni knew it was a genuine smile that he almost never showed. You go south. Find a way to deal with Alan. It's really hard to just trust these guys. I see. So what are you going to do, Hedin? The two turned their backs to each other, and Hedin looked in the direction of northwest. Remove the biggest obstacle. Hogni, go support Anya. Hurry up. The voices of Lunoa and others sounded before the graves of the tough warrior, the Amazons, and the four Gulliver brothers. The only enemy left is Goddess Chariot. Anya still persisted, but was gradually suppressed. Even though the enemy's skill has decreased, it can still be considered a miracle that the LV-6 can support you to this extent. Lunoa and the others were about to go to Anya's side, but at this moment, a spearhead was thrown at them. Lunar and the others jumped back, and were shocked and they saw the blow that shattered the place where they were a second ago. Inserted there was a spear with a half-broken handle. The only cast was somewhat human. don't even think about it. Ælfric stood up, supporting his body that he couldn't understand why he could still move. The armor and weapon hilt were cut by Aisha's cutting wave, and a deep scar was carved vertically on the right chest, and the battle suit was stained with red lacerations. Part of the helmet was also torn off and the left eye, squinted due to the dripping blood, was faintly visible.